seeing this, that means the hurly-burly's over.
You probably have a lot of questions for us.
And in this video, we're going to answer all of them. This is the truth of the downfall of Macbeth.
All hail Macbeth.
It started in freshman year, and it never stopped.
Banquo would call us so many names to the point where we would have them memorized.
He called us withered and wild in our attire.
Even the other day, I was trying to ask this girl to borrow a pencil because I really needed it. And she said no. I think that's stupid. I should have gotten that pencil.
So naturally we did some digging, and we found out she was dating this guy. So we slashed his tires.
It's just the little things that make people mad. You know, it was never really our fault. You guys made the choices, and now you have to suffer the consequences.
It was then that we saw our golden opportunity. Macbeth and MacDonald had a fight at our school.
The fight exposed the problems in our school's messed up social hierarchy.
And for some reason, Duncan was praising Macbeth after he won the fight.
That pissed us off. Duncan has always been treated like some sort of king around here. And he's nice to everyone. Everyone except us.
So we were done feeling this way, so we decided to develop a plan.
The plan was simple. Find the connections between people and exploit them.
We all know that Lady Macbeth is the controlling one in their relationship. And we know that Macbeth idolizes Duncan and wants to be just like him.
So we had to turn this idolization into jealousy.
We knew that once Macbeth took out Duncan, no one would like him, except for Banquo. Banquo sticks by him through everything. That's where Macbeth is most vulnerable.
If we could get Macbeth to turn on Banquo, then we would truly win.
So we had to figure out a way to tell Macbeth that if he got rid of Duncan, then him and Banquo would be able to rise to the top.
We had to find a way to get in his head.
I had figured it out. In order to get in Macbeth's head, we had to exploit these connections. So we sent him a text anonymously, of course, telling him that if he didn't get rid of Duncan, he would lose all of his friends.
We planned to send it right after Macbeth's fight with MacDonald.
We spoke in rhymes and riddles so that nobody would suspect it was us. Here is exactly what we sent.
All hail Macbeth. Hail to thee, Thane of Glamis.
All hail Macbeth. Hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor.
All hail Macbeth, thou shalt be king hereafter.
Hail.
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 Lesser than Macbeth and greater.
Not so happy, yet happier.
Thou shalt get kings, though thou be none. So all hail Macbeth and Banquo.
Banquo and Macbeth, all hail. We planned it so that Macbeth and Banquo would be together.
We didn't know how they would react.
They replied right away, and we know that they definitely used ChatGPT to understand it, because we all know that they aren't that bright.
Their replies were frantic, and they were hungry to know more.
Macbeth had many questions, like, how do you know that I'll become second best because the Thane of Cawdor is still alive?
He charged us to speak with him in person, as if...
Macbeth kept asking us questions and more questions, but we just told him we had to keep the mystery, like breath in the wind.
And even though he's confused and seemed like he didn't believe us at first, soon after, Duncan's best friend moved away and Macbeth moved up.
When that played out, we could see that the realization was dawning on him.
That's when he started to believe us. And he even turned to Lady Macbeth for guidance.
Lady Macbeth read our text, and her mind went straight to the point, getting rid of Duncan.
We could see the puzzle pieces coming together. Lady Macbeth knew that Macbeth was indecisive, but she was able to persuade him in getting rid of Duncan.
She just kept pushing and pushing. She even once told him, "You're too full of the milk of human kindness to strike aggressively at your first opportunity."
Whatever that means, if it wasn't for the stereotypes on women, she would have dealt with Duncan herself.
With Lady Macbeth in his ear, he did something that was truly unexpected.
He killed Duncan.
Just because it wasn't what we expected. doesn't mean that it wasn't according to plan. If anything, it was exactly what we wanted.
Macbeth went to Duncan's house at night and strangled him to death.
Duncan is filthy rich. Police assumed that the servants had something to do with it because they were jealous of Duncan's family money.
To them, this was
Exactly what they were supposed to do.
It was then that everything started to fall into place. Chaos was increasing.
Our school was mourning. Macbeth had become the new Duncan, but he had stopped being the same charismatic guy he was before.
We watched him from the shadows and saw devastation inside him, mixed with confusion and a newfound ambition.
Ambition was totally taking over, and he started to be super paranoid of people taking his spot.
And Lady Macbeth, who was so adamant on killing Duncan before, had just wanted to move on.
But his mind honed in Banquo and his little brother Fleance.
Not only did Macbeth want Banquo gone, but he wanted Fleance out of the equation too.
Macbeth and Banquo were best friends, so Macbeth just couldn't bring himself to do the deed.
Instead, he called upon gang members to do it instead.
He was trying to kill two birds with one stone, but this was what we wanted. Except Fleance is so young and he never did anything wrong.
But we did this to mess up our school, and in the long run, that is what Macbeth is doing. A few more dead doesn't really matter, right?
Right. Even though it's not quite what we expected, it still achieved the same goal.
Banquo was dead and Fleance escaped. Sounds like someone didn't do their job very well.
If we did it, we would have done so much better.
I know. What a disappointing turn of events.
Our school was on edge, and some suspected that it was coming from within, but they were too afraid to put Macbeth's names out there.
Fear shoved people's thoughts down their throats, and Macbeth was showing that he really had that free will.
Okay, we're going.
Hurry up.
Hurry up, bro.
I'm sorry, I'm going. We had seen people go crazy before, but this was different, and we could visibly see how Macbeth was deteriorating, both inside and out.
His eyes looked lifeless, and he walked uptight, always tense. The lines in his face were etched so deep, and his words were shaky and slurred.
This is when he looked for us for guidance. He reached out, spouting desperate questions and demanding answers. Deep down, he wants confirmation on his actions, something we've always longed for.
We could clearly see how he clung to all the words we said, his insecurities guiding him in his desperation. So then we decided to reply to him again.
We couldn't believe how far this had come, and honestly I was a bit scared to tell him more because I didn't know where he would take it.
We gave him his reply and told him to take these drugs while reading our words, and he will see the truth and the future that he has made for himself.
You might be wondering what happened after Macduff came. I would be too.
The aftermath of their fight was simple. Macduff killed Macbeth with Malcolm by his side.
Macbeth is now dead.
Macbeth was then taken to jail, and the murders of others were all traced back to Macbeth, becoming unpunished.
So why are we even filming these videos?
We want to get our story out there. Everyone seems to think that Macbeth was the big evil guy behind all of it, but we were the key part in all of this, and we want our recognition, don't we?
Yeah. We're happy with how the events turned out, even with a bit of conflict between the three of us.
We have shared ourselves with the world by showing you guys the influence a few words can have on the trajectory of someone's life. So be careful with what you say.
Our part in this has come to an end, giving us no more motivation to mess with anything else. meaning our goal is complete and our lives no longer serve a purpose.
Goodbye from the three sisters. Our lives have reached their end.